My name is Hestia. People usually don't come to me considering how my position within the 12 Olympians, you know, that pantheon right there, is usually questioned because Dionysus, they prefer Dionysus, consider how he is the goddess of religious ecstasy, ecstasy itself, wine. He's basically the life of the party, and I'm more like, I'm gonna play with my fire over here. So they often prefer him over me in that position, but despite being the goddess of hearth and fire and whatnot in the fireplace, I'm actually quite calm. I don't mind if he takes my place. I won't fight over it. I just allow it to happen because I have better things to do, like play with my fire and do my job, unlike the others. Anyways. Enjoy the smoke. I love smoke. I love fire. I love everything to do with fire. It's destruction. But ironically enough, I don't wish ill will on anyone. I'm the eldest sister of all the Olympian siblings, the ones who descended from Cronus and Gaia. And because of that, I'm kind of, despite my sign of immaturity just 3 seconds ago, I just don't really get mixed up in any of the drama that the others do. Once more, I just prefer to stick with my fire. Would you just look at that? It was so hot it blew my headdress off. And look at the smoke. I love smoke. I just don't like smelling smoke. Here, let me put my headdress on again. Permit me one moment. There we go. Back to my usual goddess self. Actually, let me just arrange a little more so that way it doesn't blow off again when I start lighting more matches. Okay, this should do. This should do just quite well. Fun fact, I was actually proposed to by Poseidon and Apollo, however you decide to pronounce his name. Apollo would make more sense considering how Apollo sounds like, oh, a game of polo, but Apollo makes sense. I was proposed to by both of them, but I rebuffed both of their proposals in preference of just staying single. There's more peace in that. Less drama, and considering how Apollo not so much, but Poseidon, even though he doesn't cause the drama, he's involved in the drama. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone can recall what happened between Medusa, Athena, and him. This is still on fire on the inside. That's not good. That could burn the pantheon of Olympus. There we go. It's out. I was also, yep, just like everyone else. I was also eaten by my father, Cronus, considering how there's a prophecy that stated that one of his children would be strong enough to usurp his power, and obviously he didn't want that, so he ate every child that my mother Gaia had. He ate also Poseidon, Hera, Demeter. I'm trying to recall the names of my siblings, but once more I have so many and I don't care for very many of them that it slips my mind. No, Athena was, from the 12 Olympians, the genealogy goes as thus. Athena came from Zeus's forehead. She was just his daughter and no one else's. She was born fully formed and in armor. Apollo and Artemis are twins. They were born of Leto and Zeus. So that's 3 right there. Aphrodite, Aphrodite was born, I think Aphrodite could be considered my sibling, considering how she was born of the severed genitals of my father, who was cast, and those genitals were casted into the ocean, and that's how, she was born of sea foam because it interacted with the waters and it birthed Aphrodite. So that's Or then there's Zeus, Hera, myself sometimes, Demeter, or Demeter, I can't pronounce her name. Demeter, Hades, Poseidon, and what are the other two? I know Dionysus is also kind of, but considering how I counted myself, that kind of takes the place of that one. Dionysus, Hera, Athena, Artemis, Aphrodite, Hestia, myself, and Hera, Aphrodite, Hera, Athena, Artemis, Hestia, Demeter. So that's 6 goddesses right there. Then it's Ares. Oh, Ares was the one that was missing. Ares, Hades, Zeus, Poseidon, Apollo, and there's one god that I'm missing. And he's gonna be mad because all these people have such a temperament and we can't control it. It's like fire. They just let everything explode, and in the end it's just nothing but dust and destruction. And not in the good kind. Anyways, I think I'm gonna just light 12 matches, 1 for each of the gods. So far I've lit 4. 5. 6. Yes, everyone who is an arsonist is my follower. Glad you noticed that. There we go. My headdress is starting to really get on my nerves. And not on my head. Which is a shame. I'm gonna change matches because that one looked like Hephaestus. No offense to Hephaestus. But he's not an Olympian. So he's not the one that I'm missing. So, 7. 8. 9. 10. God, the 10th one blew off my headdress. Pourquoi? That's right, I can speak French. Didn't know that about Hestia, did ya? Zeus, damn it. The 10th one blew off my headdress. 11. And the final one that I can't seem to remember the name of ever. 10. Smoky. There we go. Hello. My name is... Let me get back to Athena. I'm simply looking through this book to find some more knowledge over the mortal world. How may I help you, though? You're just cruising through the Pantheon. Okay. Understandable. Let me just go to the contents section. Let me see what immortals believe in when it comes to the soul. 292. I'm sure this will delve into Platonian philosophy, or Platonic philosophy. Here we go. This is a long chapter. One may be satisfied that there are no senses apart from the 5 I mean vision, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. There are more senses. It's just mortals can only be equipped with so many. They can only be equipped with so many, pretty much anything, considering how they're very limited beings. From the following arguments, we may assume that we actually have perception of everything which is apprehended by touch. For by touch we perceive all those things which are qualities of the tangible object, qua tangible. Again, if we lack some sense, we must lack some sense organ. And again, all the things which we perceive by direct contact are perceptible by touch, a sense which we in fact possess, but all those things which are perceived through media and not by direct contact are perceptible by means of one more than, or rather of the elements, air and water. Again, the facts are such that if objects of more than one kind are perceived through one medium, the possessor of the appropriate sense organ will apprehend both. For instance, if the sense organ is composed of air, and air is the medium both of sound and of color, but if there is more than one medium of the same thing, as for instance both air and water are media of color, for both are transparent, then he that has either of these organs, or he that have either of these, will perceive what is perceptible through both. But sense organs are composed of only two of these elements, air and water. For the pupil of the eye is composed of water and the hearing organ of air, while the organ of smell is composed of one or the other of these senses. But fire is the medium of no perception, or else is common to them all, like Hestia, for there is no possibility of perception without heat, and earth is the medium of no sense perception, or else is connected in a special way with the sense of touch. So we are left to suppose that there is no sense organ apart from water and air, and some animals actually have organs composed of these. The conclusion is that all the senses are possessed by all such animals as are neither underdeveloped nor maimed. Even the mole, we find, has eyes under the skin. If then there is no other body and no property other than those which belong to other bodies of this world, there can be no sense perception committed from our list. This is incredibly boring, not because it might be complicated for you to understand, but because it is so redundant on what is just common sense. How do you not know that animals are equipped with such capabilities? Animals are pretty much just like human beings, except that we facilitated human beings to have the capability of critical thought, which a lot of them forego in pursuit of the more baser or the more debauched pursuits. Mortals at times perturb me. They perturb my being. But at the moment I am helping the Trojan War waging on. I'm helping Hera along with her quest, considering how both of us were rebuffed by Paris, so we're both trying to make sure that the Trojans don't win in the Trojan War, because Hera is very bitter, and I enjoy war, so 2 + 2 = 4. Not to mention I was rebuffed as well, but it wasn't as insulting to me as it was to Hera. Hera threw a tantrum. It was incredible. But for me, it was more, it stung a little. But once more, I just enjoy war, and I typically keep out of it, and I only partake of war if there is a just cause behind it. I'm a very just person. Then I partake of it, but otherwise I just keep out of it. And I do... Wait, who was the one who told you about the Medusa story? Hestia. It's true. Once more, I am an incredibly just person. You cannot question me. I'm very good. I'm all good. You cannot question me if I'm all good. All of my judgments are good in that case. Anyways, when it came to Medusa, she was a very fair mortal. There are some tellings of the story that state that she was already a Gorgon sister, since there were 3 of them. It's just she wasn't the mortal one. Rather, she wasn't immortal, she was the mortal one. But she was a human being. She was a woman who was going to be taking her, who actually took her vow of virginity to serve at my temple. And one day when she was serving me worship, Poseidon took note of her, and he decided to rape her on my temple floor. And as a result, I turned her into a snake, and turned her so ugly that if a man were to look at her, he would turn to stone. it's just punishment. I mean, how dare she desecrate my temple floor? Poseidon I didn't really do anything to. I don't really care about him. I mean, like, players gotta play, but yeah, Medusa was definitely turned into a monster for having done such a cruel thing as being raped on my temple floor. But once more, I'm all good, I'm all-knowing since I'm Athena, so that means that you can't question me. Now, afterwards, when it came to the story of Medusa, she ended up going along with the Gorgon sisters, I believe, afterwards, and I didn't really appreciate her even being alive anymore, considering how she was wreaking havoc upon other men that looked at her. And once more, not my fault. I mean, I might have made her gaze turn men to stone, but still not my fault. So I had Perseus, or rather I sent Perseus to go retrieve her head for me, and he did, and he brought back her head, and I used it as the emblem to my shield. So that is my story. I'm probably gonna give this book to Hestia to burn because it was just too basic. Greek philosophy, please. Hello, my name is Artemis. Did you by chance need help with the hunt? Okay, just asking simply because the other responsibility that I have is to the moon, of course, considering how my little pendant here kind of indicates my being in charge with the moon. My brother, of course, Apollo, my twin brother actually, is in charge of the sun, which is quite a dichotomy, or a dynamic, however you choose to phrase it. But yeah, I like it. I actually helped give birth to my brother. I was born 9 days before him, so I'm older than him, of course. But we were born on the island of Delos. Our mother is Leto. The reason we were born on Delos was because we were a product of Zeus's affair with Leto, our mother. And obviously, Hera didn't like that. And so, she tried making her birth as complicated as possible. She asked the spirits of nature she didn't ask, she demanded the spirits of nature to prohibit our mother from giving birth on either mainland or in the sea. The island of Delos was neither mainland or sea, and so Zeus transported her over there to give birth and protected her with 4 pillars to keep her safe. I really don't like Hera. She's something. Anyways, he protected her with 4 pillars. Unfortunately, however you decide to pronounce Hera's daughter with Zeus, Ariel, or however you decide. It's not Ariel, as in Poseidon's granddaughter? Yeah, granddaughter, because it was Triton's son, and then Ariel is the daughter of Triton. Anyways, her daughter, that is the goddess of childbirth, she kidnapped her to keep my mother from giving birth, and then the gods obviously begged her to bring back the other goddess because there are plenty of other people trying to give birth that she was keeping from giving birth. Women who she was supposed to be protecting, but once more, she does such a great job with her position. So they enticed her with a beautiful necklace that no one could resist, and obviously she couldn't resist it. So she gave back the goddess of childbirth, and we were able to be born. I helped my mother give birth to Apollo by, being kind of the what's it called? I'm not the goddess of childbirth, so I wouldn't really know, but it's not the wet nurse, because that's the one that feeds the child, but it's on the tip of my tongue, but I forgot. Anyways, I'm probably gonna beat myself up over that for a little while. Anyways, I was in charge of the moon, hunt, wilderness, forests, and I really do enjoy my title. It brings me a lot of peace, and I consider myself to be quite calm in temperament and whatnot. And I think that's the best nature that I'm suited to, is just being in that environment, nature, and being underneath the moon and whatnot. So it's nice, and I do greatly appreciate it. I like playing with my necklace because it's in the shape of a moon. Anyways, there are other goddesses that are of the moon. Selene is one of them. And then there's obviously other goddesses associated with night, like Nyx. Even though I don't know if she's a goddess or if she's a nymph. There might be a difference. In her, I mean, there is a difference between the two, but there's, I can't remember whether I think she was a goddess though. So I'm not the only one in charge with the moon. And considering how I have other responsibilities, that comes in handy sometimes. So if you ever get like a tidal wave or something, then a rather tsunami as a result of a tidal wave, or rather something going on with the moon, and you can always ask them, because it might be that I'm a bit distracted at the moment and can't focus on taking care of the moon and the oceans that are affected by the moon. However, you could also talk to Poseidon about that fact too, because sometimes it's not at all related to the moon, but rather to the tectonic plates that are underneath the waters that are shifting and obviously causing natural disasters for the mortals. Anyways, so you're not having troubles with the hunt or any sort of wildlife or the moon itself, correct? Alrighty then, in that case, I'm just gonna go listen to some Stevie Nicks, considering how she's a sister of the moon, and just relax for a little while. So, catch you on the dark side of the moon. Hello, my name is Aphrodite, and what can I help you with today? The gift of beauty. Came to the right person. According to Paris, I am the fairest of all. So, just don't go telling people that I said that, or do. I do enjoy drama. But Hera and Athena do have quite a problem with me being the fairest. My lover Ares though, not Hades. Ares doesn't though. Anyways, let me just brush this brush with some of my godly skin cells. And then I'll put on some makeup on you. And then once I'm done putting makeup on you, it'll be a permanent fixture, so that way you're permanently beautiful. And your looks are natural, so that way the Greeks can appreciate your visage. So, I'm not going to be doing very much to you, because you're already very beautiful. So I'm just going to do blush, a bit of eyeshadow, and lipstick. Definitely. To give your lips a little more rouge. I feel like when the gods created humanity, they didn't create humanity with enough color. Now, I'm going to choose this red to go on your cheeks. So, my necklace, my bubble necklace, since I arose from sea foam, from CRONUS genitals, I'm just going to be brushing this onto your cheeks. Some stories. I'm sure that the other ones told you stories too. Personal stories. Well, I already stated that my lover was Ares, god of war. But I'm married to Hephaestus, the ugliest of the gods. Although he is the kindest, but nice guys finish last. In my book. Hephaestus, he is the son of Hera and Zeus. He's the blacksmith for the Olympian gods. He's the one that creates Zeus's lightning bolts. He's surprisingly powerful, despite being such a mysterious figure within the pantheon. Other cheek. He is, Zeus was the one who arranged the marriage between us. It's not like he initiated anything, and I most certainly didn't initiate anything. But, Zeus arranged the marriage between us because when I was coming of age, he wanted to make sure that there was no discord among the gods over who gets to marry me. So he married me off to Hephaestus, who was the ugliest one. And thus everyone would understand that I was free to live as I please, considering how Hephaestus knew that he was not going to be keeping me. I mean, had I been married off to Aries, that might have been reason for discord. But since I got married to Hephaestus, the poor guy knows that his wife isn't going to be very loyal. So, however, I do have children of my own. A lot of children, actually. Like, a lot of children. I don't think even Zeus, that's a lie. Zeus probably has a lot more than I do, but I have a lot of children. One of them being Eros, or Cupid, as some people might know him as. Right now I'm a bit upset with him, considering his relationship with a woman named Psyche. She's a mortal. I don't really believe that she should be considered, you know, on his level. And then considering how people considered her very beautiful as myself, that was an insult to me. No one is as beautiful as I am. There was a war started just because. Let me just brush up a little bit so it's not too red. There was a war started over my beauty. There is no doubt in my mind that I'm the most beautiful goddess of them all. And who else? There was also another lady. Another lady. I forgot her name, but it wasn't until I believe Perseus also saved her. Perseus has been quite involved with the gods in this realm. But Perseus saved her. She was being used as sacrifice to appease me. Unfortunately, it did not go out as it should have because of Perseus. But she was people claimed that she was also the most beautiful woman in the world, more beautiful than myself, and obviously I was quite upset over that, so I demanded that they kill her. Didn't work out. Anyways, you're all set there. Let me just put that there, and put this brush back where it belongs. Scratch the eyeshadow though. I think you shouldn't put on eyeshadow. It would reveal that you're wearing makeup. Just a little bit of blush and lipstick should do. Okay, so pucker up your lips. Thank you. Now, what were we discussing? Oh, my personal stories. I'm trying to think. I think I had... it's just... The thing is that when you have as many relationships as I do, you kind of lose track with who you slept with and who you didn't sleep with. I think I had a relationship with Apollo, though. Zeus, I don't believe I have. Poseidon and I had a relationship. Most considered me kind of a whore, and Poseidon was the only one who didn't, so I slept with him as a result. Who else? I know there's been plenty of mortals. There we go. I think I'm like the female version of Zeus, but the antithesis to Hestia, because Hestia is a very upright, conservative woman, and I'm not. I enjoy having more fun than she does. Anyways, your makeup is going to be permanent now, so enjoy being beautiful, go back to the earth, and be the charm of the ball, or the dame of the ball, whatever you mortals call it. But, give me one moment. Just beware of what you ask the gods for, because more than not, it's probably gonna end up with some negative ramifications down the line. Looking for some grain? My name's Demeter, or Demeter. I can't pronounce my own name. How many, I guess, ounces, considering how that's the only thing that I have left, would you like? The entire bottle? Alright, no one else is laying claim to it. The reason as to why I'm not making grain or the earth fertile anymore is because of my daughter. Whenever I don't have my daughter, I make the earth infertile, cold, and unpleasant to live in for mortals. It's called winter. Whenever I do have my daughter, then the earth is bountiful and, you know, warm, and the earth is fertile for agriculture, considering how I am the goddess of agriculture. Well, you see, when I don't have my daughter, she is living in the underworld with her husband Hades. It was actually Zeus who helped him get my daughter, or kidnap her from me. Hence why I'm not doing my bidding or accomplishing my responsibility for whenever I don't have her, because it's my way of punishing Zeus for his part in taking my daughter away from me. But the way the story goes is that we were roaming in a field one day, and my daughter saw a very beautiful flower. She plucked it, but when she plucked it, it was Hades' trick into trapping her with him. She pulled it and was immediately sunk into the earth, into the underworld. Now, in the underworld, if you eat a pomegranate, or the seeds of a pomegranate, you're trapped there forever. Even if you're alive, you're trapped there forever. That's the rule. Or I think it's if you eat anything or if you eat a pomegranate. I often mix the two, but it's either or. My daughter's name is Persephone. She ended up eating a pomegranate in the underworld, which is now her symbol, considering her fault. Well, not even her fault. She didn't know. She was just a child. But it was a mistake that she made. She ended up marrying Hades. She's a goddess, or rather, yeah, I consider her a goddess of spring as well. She helps me with the agriculture, and she loves flowers. She's always decorated in it, but she lives in the underworld now, married to Hades. So, how is the embodiment of spring going to be near death all that time? But Zeus allowed it, and as a result, I punish him by making the earth unfertile for a while. Anyways. I'm just going to give you your portion of the grain. Or I'm going to balance it and weigh it and see how much that is. And I'll give it to you. Let me remove some of the stones that are inside of here. Okay. There we go. There's your portion of the grain, and I'm just going to put back these stones. Make very sharp noises. Hello. Do you need help with either your womanhood, your marriage, family perhaps? Okay. Marriage issues. Understandable. So tell me, what's been going on? Your husband cheated on you. Join the club. At least your husband isn't a serial cheater. Oh, no, trust me, your husband is not a serial cheater. Mortals can't live long enough to be serial cheaters. And he wonders why I'm so vengeful at times. People often characterize me as being very catty, which I am, hence why I'm filing down my nails into being a point, so that way I can rip the eyes out of every woman that my husband sleeps with and also their children. But I'm still a goddess that even Zeus fears, so you can reserve your opinions to yourself. Aren't I supposed to be? Yes, that would make sense. I am the goddess of women, but I'm not going to be the goddess to women who sleep with my husband. I mean, I am the goddess of women, which means I'm going to be exerting my wrath over those women too. And no, I'm not just using my title as the goddess of women to carry out my malevolent deeds. What are my malevolent deeds? Let me tell you. I'll tell you a couple because, I mean, there's just too many to count. The first one is the account of me, or rather my relationship with my bastard stepson, or not even stepson because he didn't marry, of course, the mother of that child, Hercules, or Heracles, either way you decide to pronounce it. What basically happened was that when she was giving birth, Amkini, something like that, I can't remember the horse's name. When she was giving birth to him, I sent my daughter a feeling, I believe, goddess of childbirth, I can't remember my own children's name, goddess of childbirth, to tie her legs into knots so that way she wouldn't be able to give birth to the child. However, this weasel ended up stopping my daughter from accomplishing her tasks, so I turned that mortal into a weasel. I mean, you do what you do. And then when she gave birth to him, I threw snakes into his little cot as a baby. Unfortunately, he killed and played with them as if they were toys, being the son of Zeus and all. And then afterwards, when he grew up and he started going on quests and whatnot, I would turn whatever people he came across, particularly the Amazonians, against him, so that way they would lynch him. And unfortunately, it never worked. Yes, I always go after the children of my husband's bastard children. And I'm a goddess, so that means it's just. Second story. Second story I can come up with is the story of Io and my beloved Argos. I just stabbed my own shoulder. It's not worse than what Hercules did. He ended up shooting my breast with an arrow, and I still feel the pain to this day. Little prick. Anyways, the story of Io and Argus. Io was yet another woman that my husband was having relations with. I knew that he was having relations with her because there was a lone grey cloud hiding the act that they were having beneath it, so that way I wouldn't be able to see it. Obviously, if I see a cloud, though, I'm going to be like, there's my husband. So I obviously rushed over to catch him in the act. I mean, I really ran. I wanted to see him doing it so that way I can scream at him for it. But when he sensed me approaching, he turned his little heifer into a white bull, and I couldn't catch him in the act. However, because the cow is one of my symbols, I asked him to give me the cow, which I obviously knew was Io, to me as a gift. He couldn't say no, otherwise he would raise suspicion. So he gave it to me as a gift, and I tied her to a tree. And I put my Argus to supervise it, or I'm trying to think of a better word. To keep her under watch, I guess. Because Argus has 100 eyes all over his body, so no one can pass him without being spotted by him. So he was the perfect minion. But then, when Zeus heard about what was happening, he ended up contacting Hermes, who has absolutely no loyalty, I guess. So that way, he can lull my Argus to sleep, and he would kill him in his sleep, which he did. And then he untied Io. When I found out, I was obviously more than angry, so I sent a Gadfi, which is a type of bee, I guess, to sting her all her days as she wanted. Unfortunately, when she reached Egypt, she was considered a goddess. She was named a goddess and a queen, a goddess queen. And then Zeus asked me if I could turn her back into a woman, or rather if he could turn her back into a woman. I wasn't going to do anything for that woman, or rather Hefa, literally. He asked me if he could turn her back into a woman, and I said that sure you can, as long as you never see her again. And he did just so. And now she had his son, obviously, and it became that sort of mother-son religious pattern that you see within Egypt, and also Christianity. Even though Christianity is starting to really ruin Hellenism at the moment, so I'm quite mad at it for that as well. Anyways, a third story. The Judgment of Paris. That is the most popular story that has been told of the goddesses thus far. Basically what happened with the Judgment of Paris was that there was a marriage arranged. Eris, my daughter, wasn't invited because she's the goddess of discord. Obviously she's not invited. But she got mad, so she threw a golden apple with the inscription, "To the fairest." Upon it, she threw it in the middle. When we found it, I, Aphrodite, and Athena began fighting over it, because obviously we all consider ourselves to be the fairest. However, when I consider myself to be the fairest, I know it to be true. So we all fought over it. We asked the gods to vote upon it. None of them wanted to take on the task, fearing that they would anger the other two, and the other two wouldn't accomplish with their tasks that they're supposed to be getting done. We asked Zeus, considering how he is the supposed king of Olympus. He didn't want to handle it either, but he did pass on the responsibility to a mortal named Paris, who was of a Trojan descent. He ended up saying that he couldn't choose either. We all shut our clothes in front of him so that way he could better determine who was the most fair. He still couldn't determine, so we obviously resorted to other means. So we all promised him certain gifts if he were to choose us. I myself gave him the best gift out of the three. Political power, gain in political power to conquer, whatever country he so chose to. I gave him dominance over the world, basically, and he chose the other ones. Athena gave him wisdom and the ability to win battles and whatnot. And Aphrodite gave him the most superficial and shallow gift that one could, which was she promised him the most beautiful woman as his wife. That wasn't necessary. I'm pretty sure I would have chosen my gift, and if not my gift, which of course would be a mistake, but if not my gift, then Athena's gift, but Aphrodite's gift. Anyways, he chose Aphrodite's gift and voted her the fairest of all, and I was obviously very mad and hurt about that. And so when the Trojan War waged on, considering how the most beautiful woman that he was promised was Helen of Troy, I obviously rooted for the Trojans to lose, considering how Paris was of Trojan descent, and voted that I was not the fairest of all. Anyways, those are 3 stories that I could tell you at the moment. But right now, I'm very busy. Once more, when it comes to your husband cheating on you, if you'd like, I can kill him for you, but there has been really no recorded incident of me killing a man for the respect of a woman. In fact, if you really think about it, I've never really done anything for women, except claim that I'm a woman and the goddess of women. And that is it. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I claim to have such love and affinity, and for women I claim to be such a female of power, yet my husband rapes women and I simply turn a blind eye and attack the women that he rapes. Isn't that just dandy? Anyways, I'm going to continue filing my nails into a point so that way I can, use them to rip out the eyes of whatever women my husband rapes and also their bastard children, and continue on in my godly pursuits. So if you'd like, you can continue on looking for whatever and wants you want in life. to the other goddesses or gods, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna go with the goddesses since they're the ones available at the moment. So, bye-bye.